First contact and revelation. The stars had always called to humanity. For centuries, we gazed upward, wondering if we were alone in the vast cosmic ocean. By 2157, humanity had established colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan, but the dream of reaching beyond our solar system remained elusive. Dr. Maya Reeves stood before the massive array of quantum receivers at the International Deep Space Communications Center in New Zealand. For 15 years, she had dedicated her life to listening for signals from the stars. The project had been on the verge of losing funding several times, saved only by Maya's passionate advocacy and the occasional mysterious signal that couldn't quite be explained away. Another late night, Dr. Reeves asked Kai Chen, her deputy director, offering a steaming cup of coffee. "The universe doesn't sleep, so neither do I," Maya replied with a tired smile. At 43, the lines around her eyes told the story of countless nights staring at data streams, searching for patterns that might indicate intelligence. The center's eye assistant chimed in, its voice calm and measured. "Dr. Reeves, I've detected an anomaly in the data from Sector 117b. The signal appears to be using quantum entanglement principles, but in a way our current models can't fully explain." Maya's heart raced as she rushed to her terminal. "Show me." The display lit up with waves of data, rhythmic pulses that couldn't be naturally occurring. After running it through every filter and analysis tool they had, Maya's hands trembled as she turned to Kai. "This is it. This isn't random noise or a natural phenomenon. This is a message." Within 24 hours, the United Earth Council had assembled an emergency session. Maya presented her findings to a chamber of skeptical faces. "The signal contains mathematical constants, followed by what appears to be a spatial coordinate system unlike anything we've developed," she explained. "And it's repeating. This isn't just a beacon. It's a call for help." Admiral Helena Yoshida, head of the United Earth Space Force, leaned forward. "You're certain this is a distress signal?" "The pattern matches universal distress indicators," repeated, simple, and with increasing urgency, Maya confirmed. "And we've pinpointed its origin to a star system approximately 12 light-years from Earth. 12 light-years would take decades to reach with our current propulsion systems," noted Counselor India. Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, the lead scientist of the Prometheus project, cleared his throat. "Not necessarily. The prototype for our experimental fold drive is ready for testing. If successful, it could reduce the journey to months rather than decades." 6 weeks later, Maya found herself aboard the UESS Pathfinder, Earth's first true interstellar vessel. The ship housed a crew of 30 specialists from various fields, led by Captain Thomas Alvarez, a veteran of the Mars conflicts. "Fold drive charged to 97%, reported Dr. Eliza Wong, the quantum engineer responsible for the experimental drive. "Spatial coordinates locked." Captain Alvarez turned to Maya. "Last chance to change your mind, Doctor. We're venturing farther than any human has gone before." Maya shook her head. "Whoever sent that signal has been waiting 9 years for someone to respond. I'm not backing out now." Fold in 3, 2, 1. The universe seemed to compress around them. Maya felt a moment of vertigo as space-time itself warped, then snapped back into place. The view screen showed an unfamiliar star field. "Fold successful," announced Eliza, her voice shaking with excitement. "Position confirmed. We're 12 light-years from Earth." The Pathfinder approached the third planet orbiting an orange dwarf star. Sensors revealed an atmosphere thick with toxic gases, but also detected artificial structures on the surface. "We're receiving a transmission," said Communications Officer Raj Patel. "It's using similar quantum principles to the signal we detected on Earth." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being unlike anything humans had imagined. Its body appeared crystalline, with a translucent blue-green hue that shifted like morning light through sea glass. Where a face might be, 5 sensory organs arranged in a pentagonal pattern pulsed with bioluminescence. Maya stepped forward. "I am Dr. Maya Reeves of Earth. We received your distress signal." The translator worked frantically to decode the alien's response. Finally, words appeared on screen. Gratitude extends beyond measure. I am Sorith, representative of the Keldari. Survival time limited. Please assist. The Pathfinder deployed its shuttle, equipped with advanced environmental systems to protect the human crew from the planet's toxic atmosphere. Maya led the away team to the surface, where they discovered a civilization on the brink of extinction. The Keldari had once been a spacefaring species with colonies across multiple systems, but their physical form, crystalline beings who communicated through light and maintained a communal consciousness, had rendered them incompatible with the dominant galactic governance. The consortium declared us unsuitable for membership, Sorith explained as they toured what remained of the Keldari's once great city. Without access to interstellar trade routes or shared technology, we were isolated. When our star began to destabilize, changing our atmosphere, we had no means to evacuate our population. Maya looked around at the remaining Keldari, only a few thousand left from what had once been billions. Why would this consortium abandon you? The Galactic Consortium operates on a strict hierarchical system. Another Keldari named Immerse explained. Species are categorized based on their utility to the consortium's expansion. Our unique biology and philosophical objection to their military campaigns rendered us disposable. Over the next weeks, the Pathfinder crew worked with the Keldari to develop evacuation plans. The alien species possessed remarkable medical technology. Their crystal-based computing systems had mapped the complete neural pathways of their species, allowing for perfect consciousness transfer in case of physical damage. This technology could revolutionize human medicine. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, the Pathfinder's chief medical officer, told Maya. Their understanding of consciousness itself is centuries beyond ours. Captain Alvarez called a meeting of the senior staff. The Keldari have offered to share their medical technology with Earth in exchange for our help, but we need to understand what we're getting into. This consortium sounds like it controls this entire region of space. Maya studied the star charts the Keldari had provided. According to Sorith, the nearest consortium outpost is 2 light-years from here. They monitor this sector periodically, but haven't visited the Keldari homeworld in decades. We came to answer a distress call, said Security Chief Elena Vasquez. I don't see how we can just leave them to die because some alien bureaucracy decided they weren't worth saving. The decision was unanimous. The Pathfinder would transport as many Keldari as possible to a habitable moon orbiting the system's outer gas giant, a temporary measure until a better solution could be found. As the evacuation proceeded, Maya worked closely with Sorith, learning about the complex tapestry of galactic civilizations. The consortium comprised 12 paramount species who controlled most resources and territory, with dozens of associate species serving various functions. Countless others, like the Keldari, had been deemed unworthy of assistance or integration. Your species is fortunate to have developed in isolation, Sorith told her. Had the consortium discovered Earth earlier, humanity might have been classified and restricted before you could demonstrate your potential. On the 10th day of the evacuation, alarms blared throughout the Pathfinder. Unidentified vessel approaching, announced the tactical officer. Configuration matches Keldari descriptions of consortium patrol ships. Captain Alvarez straightened his uniform. Looks like we're about to make humanity's first official contact with galactic civilization. Let's hope they're in a diplomatic mood. The approaching vessel was 3 times the size of the Pathfinder, sleek and predatory in design. As it entered orbit, a communication request pinged their systems. The being that appeared on screen had a vaguely reptilian appearance, with iridescent scales and 4 eyes arranged horizontally across its face. Unidentified vessel, you are in violation of Galactic Consortium Regulation 732B. Unauthorized interaction with a quarantine species. State your origin and purpose. Maya watched as Captain Alvarez stepped forward, shoulders squared. I am Captain Thomas Alvarez of the United Earth ship Pathfinder. We are responding to a distress signal from the Caldari people, who face extinction due to atmospheric degradation. The alien's eyes narrowed. Earth, your species is not registered in consortium databases. That's because we're new to interstellar travel, Alvarez replied. But where I come from, when someone asks for help, we don't check a database to see if they deserve to live. As the standoff intensified, Maya realized that humanity had stumbled into a complex galactic political situation that would forever change Earth's destiny. Whatever happened next, there would be no going back to the isolation they had known. The stars had called, and humanity had answered, not just for themselves, but for those abandoned by the very civilization they were now confronting, challenging the hierarchy. The consortium patrol ship hung in orbit like a predator watching its prey. After Captain Alvarez's bold statement, an uncomfortable silence filled the Pathfinder's bridge. The reptilian commander, who had identified himself as Enforcer Dravik of the Vexari Paramount, seemed genuinely perplexed by humanity's presence. You claim your species developed fold technology independently and then immediately used it to aid a quarantined race. We received a distress signal, Maya interjected. In human culture, ignoring such calls is considered a moral failure. Dravik's translator rendered a sound that might have been laughter. Morality is subjective, human. Galactic stability is not. The Caldari were quarantined for their own protection after refusing military service during the Neplian conflict. Their physical form makes them vulnerable to exploitation. Chief Engineer Rodriguez whispered to Maya, "He's lying. The Caldari told us they were abandoned because their crystal-based technology couldn't be replicated by organic species." Maya nodded slightly, understanding the implications. The consortium wasn't protecting the Caldari. They were isolating a species whose technology they couldn't control. Captain Alvarez maintained his diplomatic stance. "We respect the consortium's authority in this region, Enforcer Dravik. However, we cannot abandon the Caldari to extinction. Perhaps we could discuss alternative solutions that satisfy both our moral obligations and your regulatory concerns." This measured response seemed to catch Dravik off guard. After a moment's consideration, he agreed to a face-to-face meeting aboard the Pathfinder, with appropriate biohazard protocols. As preparations were made for the diplomatic encounter, Maya noticed unusual activity near the system's outer reaches. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple small vessels approaching from the direction of the gas giant." Tactical Officer Chen confirmed. 7 ships, primitive propulsion systems. They appear to have been hiding in the gas giant's rings. Before anyone could speculate further, a new communication came through. The being on screen had a vaguely insectoid appearance, with compound eyes and an exoskeleton that shimmered with iridescent purples and blues. "Humans of Earth, I am Trizix of the Valaxian remnant. We have monitored your communications with the consortium. If you truly intend to aid the Caldari, you should know you are not alone in opposing consortium policies." Within hours, representatives from 7 different species had gathered aboard the Pathfinder. Each had their own story of abandonment or exploitation by the consortium. The Valaxians had been deemed redundant when another insectoid species with similar biological capabilities had been discovered. The Morph, gaseous beings who lived in specialized containment suits, had been classified as environmentally incompatible, despite their brilliant innovations in atmospheric engineering. "We formed a loose alliance," explained Kranix, a silicon-based life form from the Iridian Collective. "We survive in the margins of consortium space, trading among ourselves and avoiding detection." When Enforcer Dravik arrived for the scheduled meeting, he found not just humans and Caldari waiting, but representatives from 7 other undesirable species. His 4 eyes widened in what Maya interpreted as shock. "This is a violation of multiple consortium protocols," he sputtered. "Association with unregistered species carries severe penalties." Captain Alvarez remained calm. "On Earth, we have a saying, strength in diversity. Each of these species brings unique perspectives and abilities. Together, We've already developed a solution for the Caldari that doesn't require consortium resources. Maya stepped forward with a holographic display. The Moref have designed atmospheric processors that can begin reversing the toxic changes to the Caldari homeworld. The Iridians have mining operations that can provide necessary minerals. The Valaxians offer transportation and logistics. And humanity provides what, exactly? Dravik asked, his tone condescending. Something the consortium seems to lack, Maya replied. Imagination. The willingness to see value beyond immediate utility. Over the next 3 weeks, an unprecedented cooperation unfolded in the Caldari system. The Pathfinder's crew worked alongside the various alien species, combining technologies and methodologies in ways none had considered before. Humanity's relative technological simplicity proved to be an advantage. Their solutions were adaptable, resilient, and didn't rely on the advanced but standardized systems the consortium enforced. Word spread through the hidden networks of marginalized species. More ships arrived, bringing resources and volunteers. What had begun as a rescue mission was transforming into a movement. Admiral Helena Yoshida arrived with 3 additional Earth vessels, having followed the Pathfinder's successful fold coordinates. She brought news that the United Earth Council had unanimously voted to establish formal relations with the non-consortium species. The Caldari medical technology alone has already revolutionized our treatment of neurological conditions, she told Maya. And the Iridians' terraforming techniques could accelerate our Mars projects by decades. This is the partnership humanity has been searching for. The consortium didn't remain idle. 3 weeks after the initial contact, a diplomatic envoy arrived, led by Ambassador Tellara of the Loraxian Paramount. Unlike Enforcer Dravik's militaristic approach, Tellara offered incentives. The consortium is prepared to offer Earth Provisional Associate status, the ambassador announced. This would grant you access to established trade routes, technological exchanges, and protection under consortium law. In exchange for abandoning the Caldari and the others, Captain Alvarez asked. Tellara's expression remained neutral. In exchange for respecting established hierarchies, the galaxy functions on order, Captain. Species are categorized based on their contributions to collective advancement. Admiral Yoshida stepped forward. And who determines what constitutes advancement? We've seen remarkable innovations from species your consortium dismissed. The tension escalated when consortium intelligence discovered the location of a hidden outpost near the border of their territory, a sanctuary where undesirable species had gathered to escape persecution. A consortium battle group was dispatched to process the inhabitants. The Alliance, as the cooperative had come to call itself, faced its first major crisis. With limited military capabilities, they couldn't hope to match consortium firepower. But humanity had never relied solely on superior force to overcome challenges. We don't need to outgun them, Maya said during the emergency strategy session. We just need to outthink them. Using a combination of Caldari crystal technology, Moref, atmospheric manipulation, and human ingenuity, the Alliance developed a plan. When the consortium battle group arrived at the sanctuary, they found what appeared to be an abandoned outpost. As they deployed ground forces to investigate, the Alliance put their plan into action. The Moref released a specialized gas that temporarily disrupted the consortium's neural implants but was harmless to biological systems. Meanwhile, Caldari crystal matrices broadcast modified consciousness patterns that created sensory illusions. The consortium forces found themselves unable to distinguish reality from hallucination. In the confusion, Alliance teams boarded the consortium vessels, accessing their systems and downloading crucial intelligence. What they discovered was shocking. The sanctuary wasn't just a refuge. It was a prison colony where the consortium had been conducting illegal biological experiments on undesirable species, searching for ways to weaponize their unique traits. When the evidence was broadcast across all consortium communication channels, the response was immediate. Several associate species, long unhappy with their subordinate status, declared their independence. Three minor paramount species demanded investigations into the violations of consortium law. The battle group commander, faced with widespread mutiny and the exposure of illegal operations, was forced to withdraw. 6 months after the Pathfinder had first responded to the Caldari distress signal, representatives from 27 species gathered on Earth to formalize the Alliance of Independent Species. The principles were simple: mutual respect, cooperative advancement, and the recognition that diversity of form and thought was not a weakness but a strength. Maya stood at the ceremony, watching as species that had been deemed worthless by the consortium's standards signed the Alliance Charter. Beside her, Zorith's crystalline form glowed with what she had come to recognize as pleasure. The consortium believed that categorizing life by its utility was efficient. Zorith observed, "They never understood that creativity flourishes at the margins, not the center." "Humans have always been good at being underestimated," Maya replied with a smile. "I guess we found kindred spirits among the stars." As the ceremony concluded, news arrived that 3 more consortium associate species had requested Alliance membership. The galactic balance of power was shifting, not through military might, but through the simple power of inclusion. Maya looked out at the gathering of diverse beings, crystalline, gaseous, insectoid, silicon-based, and dozens of forms that defied easy categorization. Humanity had ventured into space dreaming of finding intelligent life, never imagining that their greatest contribution to the galaxy would not be technological but philosophical, the radical notion that all sentient beings deserve respect and opportunity. The stars had called to humanity, and humanity had answered, not just for themselves, but for all those whose voices had been silenced by a system that valued uniformity over diversity. In doing so, they had become a beacon for the overlooked, the forgotten, and the underestimated throughout the galaxy. And that light would not be extinguished.